is Havinga, and it is Wednesday, December 9th. And the holidays are upon us, Jim. We are in the midst of Hanukkah. Christmas is coming up. Kwanzaa is coming up. I don't know. All sorts of holidays are coming up. So Reverend Jim Bell is with me from the Village Church, and I'm going to have you do the honors.
Well, it is a great time to be in an inclusive community with so many different faith groups represented. I guess I've known Mickey now for about, 6 years since I came here.
Yes.
And the thing that I found out was when I can get him to come play for some event at our church, the attendance goes up. So
he plays every Sunday?
Not
then?
every Sunday. I wish. I wish he did. But when he comes to play for special occasions, the attendance goes up. And I've listened to him. You do play almost every week for the Catholic service, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I still do.
And I've listened to him, and I have thought, a person that plays with the kind of passion and emotion you play with has got to have a deep spiritual rooting to be able to play like that, and how much it's appreciated. And so I'm glad you can be here and be a part of this service.
Well, I'm very happy to be doing this, and I've done it now since 2002 when I first started with the Catholic community, because we moved in the end of 2001. But and I had Sister Mary Newitt was the one that approached me and asked me if I would like to do that, and I said, oh, maybe once a month I could do that. Well, as it turned out, it came almost immediately every week.
Yep.
And I've been doing it that way ever since then.
So
with different piano accompanist, because the first one was Marge Silvis, and then of course she got sick and died, and so I went to the next person that I could find, and I did her, and I did another one, and that's the way it's been going. So
let's go back when you would say you first started really kind of realizing that you were on a spiritual path or journey. Can you go back that far?
No, I didn't. I just was very perseverant and happy that I was able to be a part of the Mass, Catholic Mass, and I'd always, of course, I've gone to Mass every Sunday and so forth, and really didn't play in any church except for weddings and for funerals, things like that. Although I did play, at one time I had a quintet when I was a member of St. James in Falls Church, and we played there quite a few times. I had a quintet where I played all over the area. This had nothing to do for my playing with the symphony, except they were all symphony members.
Mickey, how did you get started playing the violin, and then also about the symphony? What symphony?
That was the Fairfax Symphony. I was their first leader of the symphony. I was the first chair violinist, and so was that until they found somebody that was equal or better than me, and then about 10 years later, that person left, and I took over again, and I was always the assistant concertmaster at that point. And so where we played at so many different places, including the Kennedy Center, we played there for about 8 years, I guess. We had at least 1, 2, or 3 concerts there. And then we played at Wolf Trap for quite a few different occasions. Even one we had Ella Fitzgerald sing, which was unique. Because
how did you get started with the violin?
My folks took us to Skyline Drive, and that's where a whole bunch of hillbillies were out there playing the violin, and I liked the sound of the violin, and so that started me. And
it's called a fiddle up there.
A fiddle. I was a fiddler. I was a true fiddler because
really, I would have never thought.
I didn't even know how to hold the violin properly. I would hold it sitting with my hand like this on the arm of the chair.
Oh.
And until we found someone, my parents had a good friend who happened to be a French hornist with the Marine Band. And he came out and they were trying to tell him how they thought I was, was doing pretty good. Well, he knocked it all down and said, we're going to change, you're going to have to change him, because the man that was teaching me didn't even play the violin. So that was a pretty terrible start for 2 years.
Yeah.
But he switched me over to a member of the Marine Band who was a violinist and a clarinetist, and so I started both instruments.
How
with
old
him.
were you?
I was probably 12 years old, maybe 13 years old.
So is that
when,
late?
when I went with him. I started when I was 11,
Okay.
and then I changed over to him. And within 4 years, he had me doing that well that I took an audition with the Peabody Conservatory in Baltimore, and I was accepted to become a future violinist with the Baltimore Symphony. And so I was there for 1 month, and then I went into the service. So I wasn't able to play for 2 years at all. Came back, went to Peabody, and then changed over. And also at the same time, I took the clarinet. So I took both instruments. And when I changed over, went to Catholic University to get my degree, because I thought all of us students were always talking about this, that, or the other, about where the money is or isn't. And so I switched over to the clarinet and got my performance degree on the clarinet at Catholic University. I played with the Emerson String Quartet, which was the founding of that quartet. And I still have a record of that, playing the Mozart Quintet.
Oh, my.
So, yeah.
So all through, it sounds to me anyway, that the Catholic Church has been there right along with the violin.
Oh, yes. I sang in the choir at St. Agnes when I was just 15 years old, and sang there until I left, went in the service. But then that was the last I did of the singing. From then on, it was playing the violin, no longer singing. So, yeah, I always, and I have played many times for weddings, more weddings, and also for some of the, person dies and the funerals.
I know the music that you play out of the church, even the classical music out of the church, but just the music that's rooted in the church.
Yeah.
To be honest, I love to hear you play it because it brings out something in anybody that's listening.
Yeah.
In terms of spirituality and
Yeah. Well, I'm one that does go back to the Baroque era with Bach and all of those composers, and then Haydn. I loved all of his works. And when I got a trio here, I waited 11 years to find a cellist so we could have a trio. I always wanted to play the Mendelssohn first trio, and I got to do that.
Oh, that's great.
Thank
Right,
goodness.
that was right. That was a few years
Few
back,
years
right?
back,
when
yep.
You had the trio, right?
Yep, I had Roy Clark
On piano.
on the piano. And before that, of course, I had Dick Pledger. We gave 3 full-length concerts in 07, 08, and 09. And then he got ill and wasn't able to play the piano anymore. And so I started playing with Roy. And so we've played in different places. And member of the Falls Church study group, music study group. And sometimes we've played there several times. So.
While you're playing, are you aware of the connection that your music is having with your audience, or are you? I mean, explain your kind of.
Well, I do. I want to put everything I have into whatever I'm playing. So I just don't want to play the notes, because it's not really beneficial to just play notes. You have to be having some kind of inner activity, and that's what I have when I'm playing.
I think you can, I don't know about you, but I think sometimes when you're resonating well with an audience, you can almost feel them taking your energy as you do something.
That's true, yeah. And so I've enjoyed doing that. I keep saying, well, I don't know how long or much longer I could continue. So actually I do say a prayer that I'll be able to continue for a little bit longer. So I do.
Well, you're in great demand.
So would you say, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but it just occurs to me, when you're playing, like when you're practicing at home, is that a form of prayer?
I don't know if it's a form of prayer, but I know that if I'm practicing the hymns that I play at Mass, for instance, then it probably is, because I want it to sound well, for those hymns. And I do. Usually, I play about 8 hymns before Mass. We always try to play at least that many before Mass, and I try to vary it, and I play some of Bach as well. It's thrown in there, so.
You do that every Friday here at before Mass?
Yes, I do. Yeah, and then of course as the season changes, I change also in what I'm playing, because I do all the selecting of the music, and have done that almost since the beginning. In the beginning, I did play the before Mass, but then Sister Mary Newitt did the selections of the entrance hymn and so forth, and the recessional and etc. But I always played that, and plus at communion, I always wanted to play something that was really very good, as far as not just a short one, but something that people would enjoy, as well as to make it sound, nice.
I have found that when, particularly during the Eucharist and music is playing, it does increase the depth of what's taking place in the Eucharist,
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, because I've had many people come to me and say it really makes the Mass, which I'm very happy that I'm able to do that.
So Jim, as principal priest or spiritual guider in that sense during the service, when Mickey's playing, how do you react to? I mean, is it different than when he's you know?
I to be honest, because we're such a diverse religious community, I've noticed a number of things that happen. I've noticed people with tears.
Yeah.
I've noticed people that just listen in almost awe. I've noticed people that will hold up their hands in praise. I've just noticed all sorts of responses when you're playing, and your playing crosses the spectrum of, at least for those of us in the Christian faith, Protestant, Catholic, evangelical,
Sure.
conservative, whatever,
That's right.
But how do you change your approach when? I mean, in terms of conducting the service, I mean, is there another?
Mickey has played for us before when it has been so powerful. I have not wanted to stand up and say anything. I just wanted to sit there and let that music sink in. That's how powerful it is to me.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Do you have that same kind of connection
Yes,
when
I
you're?
have. I have a big connection. Absolutely. Yes, I do, because I want to do, and the people to enjoy, and what I'm communicating for them. Because I think it means more. I'm not going to just play play the notes and that's it. No, you have to think of what I'm playing, a certain hymn. What that means.
I think that's what makes your playing, at least during the service, so fantastic, is you're not just playing, you are worshipfully playing.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
So, was that something that developed over time, or?
Yeah, it has developed, because I never was used to doing that before I came to Green Spring. So, except, as I said, for weddings and things like that. And of course, when I had a quintet, they were members of the Fairfax Symphony, and we played different places. We played for Jewish weddings, Baptist wedding, any of them, you know. And
Those were kind of more jobs then.
Yeah,
I'm
they were
thinking.
jobs.
So I mean, not
yeah,
that you
but we did play.
didn't do well.
Did play so many same type of pieces, though. Actually.
But you grew up in the church, right?
Oh, yes.
And
Yes, I
did you do the routine things like altar boy and all those?
Well,
routine
actually, I didn't do altar boy.
Oh, really?
No, but I did, as I say, I sang in the choir, and that was, and then also played. I did play sometimes the violin as well, so I did do that.
Do you still play the clarinet?
No, unfortunately, I don't, and it's sad that I don't, because I was, I think, pretty good clarinetist, because I went to Fort Myer to the Maine Army Band, auditioned, and they accepted me to be a first clarinetist.
Oh, yeah.
But
The
I
war
had to
came
make it.
into being. Wasn't that why you didn't continue with that?
What's that?
The war came on and you were
Yeah,
called to something.
but also, yeah, that came on. But then also, I had to make a decision when the Fairfax Symphony first started, and so I said, well, am I going to be the clarinetist, or am I going to be a violinist? And I knew the violin has maybe 10 or 12 first chairs. The clarinet has 2 chairs. And I had played the clarinet in a symphony with the Air Force Symphony in Washington, D.C. I played with them for several years as the clarinetist with them. But then when I made the decision, I thought, no, I'm going to go be the violinist. So it didn't matter what it'll be. Well, when I got there and I started playing, they immediately made me the leader. So
That's great.
So you made the right decision.
yes, I did.
What about your violin? How long have you had it? And what kind?
This violin I've had since 1947.
Wow.
Yep, it was made by an Italian violin maker in Tacoma Park, Washington, D.C. He was Italian, and he had originally sold it to a senator in of the United States, you know. And I guess he didn't keep it. So when my brother, oldest brother, went with me to see about it, that's what we chose. And it has a,
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if you can see,
Well-
but it has a maple back, which is unusual. Can you see that? That's a.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Wow.
So I've always liked it, and I still play with it. So
And the violin, well, I guess most instruments, but isn't the violin, you really, really have to play it to really get the true...
you do, and you keep playing it. It doesn't get worse. It just gets better.
Yeah. That's why the real old violins are still so good.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
And go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to ask you, have you ever played a Stradivarius, or have you ever played one?
No, no, I haven't.
I just wondered.
No, I've always just played that violin. I've played some others, but not, for any length
Right.
of time. So
And I understand the bow is also very important.
it is the bow that I have here is actually the woods from Brazil, South America. It's a Pernambuco, and it's the best type of wood to have on a bow. So I did buy that one from in Washington D.C. from a violin maker. So many years ago. So it's been part of me. Also, I have another bow which I had in the very beginning, and got that from my first teacher. So
How does it affect music? Like I've noticed one time when you played, like a string would break.
yeah.
Or how does that affect the music, or does like one of those breakings, does that do anything? Or?
Oh yeah, sure. Because the new string will have a tendency to go downward.
What do you mean
What's
by...
that mean?
Well,
Yes.
in tone.
Oh.
The actual supposed to be an A. Well, it goes a little below the A, and then so you have to keep retuning it. Although I know I saw Joshua Bell and his string broke right in the midst of a concerto, and he put a new one on. I don't know what kind he uses, but it worked very well for him. So
That must be a musician's worst nightmare
it
when
is,
something.
yeah, we had that one time. The violinist who was performing for us, same thing happened, and I had to give him my violin. Continue. So, and I also played down in the summertime. We always and still play. The Fairfax Symphony still plays there at Orkney Springs, and we give concerts, at least 2 concerts there every summer. And I know one time the concertmaster that we had at the time wasn't able to do it, and I ended up being the concertmaster and had to play a short solo with a piece by Janacek. So,
Well, no matter how much I would like to pick this violin up and play, my father actually played the violin.
Oh, he did?
And he had my oldest sister played. But I was like, there's just no way I'm playing the violin. You know,
Good, because I was thinking, I will actually be more comfortable when you hand that back to him.
Well, I am going to hand that back to him because we would like to end the show with you playing, Mickey.
Okay,
So
well,
I'll give you your violin.
Thank
Notice
you.
I didn't drop it, so that's a good thing. And let me just move that mic up a little bit.
okay.
And,
I usually never use a mic when I play, but
well, okay.
I don't.
Good as follows.
I know.
This is
Yeah. And we'll be right back.